Have you ever had that sinking feeling? You're putting in all the hours, you're grinding away, but when you finally look up, you realize you're just stuck on a treadmill, not actually moving forward. It's so frustrating, right? Well, that's exactly the spot our author was in before absolutely everything changed for him.
Dear book lovers, welcome to another high-speed book summary episode of Summeropedia. We are here to bring you more titles in less time. In this episode, we are going to explore the important and highly practical lessons from the book 7 Strategies for Wealth and Happiness by a man who came to be known as America's foremost business philosopher, the one and only Jim Rohn. This quote, it really gets to the heart of Rohn's entire philosophy. See, he started out just like a lot of us, ambitious, hardworking, and really sincere about wanting to succeed. But he learned the hard way that there is a massive, massive gap between just earning a paycheck and actually designing a life that's full of meaning and happiness.
Ron's strategies weren't born in some stuffy classroom or a think tank. No, they were forged in the fire of his own financial desperation. And honestly, that's what makes his advice so powerful and so incredibly real. So get this, at age 25, after 6 long years of hard work, this was Jim Rohn's weekly paycheck, $57. He had a family to support, a pile of bills that just kept growing, and he was falling further and further behind on all the promises he'd made. He realized pretty quick that just working hard wasn't going to be the answer. Now, the moment it all changed for him, it wasn't some big corporate failure or a dramatic event. It was something small and deeply, deeply embarrassing. A 10-year-old Girl Scout knocked on his door. She was selling cookies for $2 a box. And Jim Rohn, a father, a husband, a working man, he didn't have $2. He had to lie to a little kid, saying he'd already bought some, just so she would leave. And as that little girl walked away, Rohn just leaned against his door and made this declaration to himself. That single moment of shame, it became what he called a nitty-gritty reason, a super powerful personal fire that just ignited his desire for change. He decided right then and there he would never be in that position again. So, it was this huge turning point that led Rohn to his mentor, a guy named Earl Schwaf. And Schwaf showed him that the master key to success wasn't some secret trick or a complicated formula. It was something almost deceptively simple but also profoundly powerful: discipline. Rohn completely redefines discipline for us here. It's not about punishment. It's not about restriction. Think of it more like the bridge that connects a great idea in your head to a real result you can hold in your hand. It's the glue that holds your dreams and your achievements together. And here's where this idea of discipline gets super practical. Rohn argues that big failures, they don't just happen overnight. Not at all. They're the slow, creeping result of tiny daily neglects. You skip saving $10 today and think, no big deal. But a whole lifetime of those no big deal moments, well, that's exactly what leads to disaster. But here's the good news. Success works the exact same way, just in reverse. Okay, so if discipline is our foundation, where do we point all that effort? Well, that brings us right to Rohn's first big strategy: unleashing the incredible power of goals. They give you the direction, the why, that's going to fuel every single one of those daily actions. This is what Rohn's mentor, Earl Schwaf, told him over breakfast one morning. Can you imagine? Rohn was just stunned. He didn't have a list of goals. And then Schwaf guessed his bank balance, pretty much spot on. In that instant, Rohn understood the direct, undeniable link between writing your goals down and achieving financial success. And this right here, this is one of Rohn's most profound insights. The real prize of setting a huge goal, say becoming a millionaire, it isn't the $1 million. Nope. It's the person you have to become to get there. It's the discipline, the courage, the skills, the knowledge, the character you build along the way. That's the real treasure. So this idea of becoming leads us perfectly into Rohn's next couple of strategies, which are all about personal development. Because, if the goal is to become a certain type of person, the next obvious question is, well, how do I do that? The answer is simple. You have to actively seek knowledge and then learn how to change. This is maybe Rohn's most famous piece of advice, and it is an absolute game changer. He basically says that your income will almost never outgrow your personal development. You don't attract success, you become attractive to success. So if you want your life to change, you have to change. Your bank account, your relationships, your health, they only get better when you get better. To help frame this whole journey of growth, Rohn uses this brilliant metaphor, the seasons of life. Look, life isn't always sunny. There are going to be winters, times of difficulty, of struggle. The key isn't to wish they'd go away, but to use that time to get stronger, to get wiser. Because spring always follows, and it always brings opportunity. That's when you plant your seeds with massive action. Then comes summer, when you have to be vigilant, protecting everything you've grown from the weeds and pests that will try to take over. And finally, in the fall, you get to reap what you've sown, taking full, unapologetic ownership of your results.
So now that we've dug into his core ideas, let's just take a quick second to look at the man himself, because understanding where Jim Rohn came from is key to understanding why his philosophy has connected with millions of people. Jim Rohn wasn't some academic in an ivory tower. He was a practitioner. He lived this stuff. He transformed himself from a broke Idaho farm boy into a self-made millionaire and one of the most respected speakers in the world. His ideas aren't complex theories. They're the fundamental, timeless principles he learned from his mentor and then used to completely change his own life.
All right, so how do we put all these pieces together? Well, Rohn's work isn't just a collection of nice quotes. It's a real blueprint for designing a better life, and it's something you can start using literally today.
When you boil it all down, the message is crystal clear. Success isn't magic, it's not luck. It's just the predictable result of consistently applying the fundamentals. It all starts with that foundation of discipline. That discipline lets you chase down clear goals, but the real purpose of those goals is to make you grow as a person. And you navigate this whole journey by embracing the seasons of life and taking total responsibility for your results.
Rohn always insisted that the best day to start a new life is today. So I'll leave you with this to think about. After hearing all these ideas, what is one small, seemingly insignificant discipline that you can commit to starting right now that could completely change where you are 5 years from now?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more impactful book summaries from Summaropedia.